I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Amherst Board of Education order, please. Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Yakobozzi?
Here.
Mr. Zappa?
Here.
Mr. Engel?
Here.
Mrs. Gillis? Here. Mrs. Snyder?
I entertain a recommendation to adopt the agenda as presented, including any all addendums.
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
Okay. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Engel?
Aye.
Mrs. Snyder?
Aye.
Mrs. Gillis?
Aye.
Mr. Zappa?
Aye.
Mr. Yakobozzi?
Hearing in the public. Did anybody sign in? Address the
No.
public? Nothing, okay. Treasurer's report.
This evening, I just give you a brief financial update for fiscal 21, as you were informed via email with the treasurer's update. We closed fiscal 21 on July 12th. In fiscal 21, we collected $83,814 more revenue than what was forecasted. We spent $94,631 more than what was forecasted. We added $1.7 million to the cash balance. And obviously, as we stated in May at the 5-year forecast update time, Amherst schools is fiscally healthy right now. Looking out to the future, our continued fiscal health would of course be dependent upon two levy renewals. So that's all I have to say this evening about the financial update. I provided a little bit more line item detail in the email if anybody has any questions. Questions?
Thank you.
Would you like me to move on to the recommendations,
Please, yes.
sir? Item A is to approve the board minutes from the June 30th special board meeting. Item B is to review and approve the treasurer's financial reports for the month of June. Item C is a then and now. You're all very well versed in the fact that the board must approve anything $3,000 and over for which there wasn't previously a purchase order in place. Pep Willow Creek is a tuition, and although we asked for the invoices prior to fiscal year end, this is one that we didn't receive. We closed the purchase order as is instructed by the auditor of state, and so this one didn't have a valid purchase order at 7/1, not our fault at all. And so I asked the board to approve that $9,920 invoice. Item D are 4 additions to appropriations, to temporary appropriations that were approved on June 30th. 2 are principals accounts. 1 is the E-rate fund that the board approved creation of in the spring. And item, Fund 461 is a new fiscal 22 high schools that work grant that we're receiving that is being used for professional development. It's actually at the junior high. It's making middle grades work, but for some reason this is attached to the high schools that work grant at the state level. Item E, approve the following returns and advances. If you recall, these are the same advances that you approved at the June 30th meeting that now we wish to return to the general fund. And then item F is per board policy, requesting prior approval for out-of-state travel for the treasurer to the Association of School Business Officials International Annual Conference and Expo. And I'm actually presenting or slated to present with my colleague Dawn Jacobs at this conference. Does anybody have any questions?
What is the high school that works, the grant that she was mentioning? I don't know that.
Yeah, that's a special grant program that we've used, I think, primarily for professional development, and it's actually been utilized at our junior high school. And I think, I'm trying to remember the amount.
3,000.
3,000. And I know that Mr. Molnar actually just entered the budget, I think,
Yes.
for the upcoming year. But I know last year that, those funds were primarily used, and I want to say it was a professor from Kent State that I think provided most of the professional development for staff.
Okay, thanks.
Is that a federal grant?
It's a state grant.
State grant.
High Schools at Work has been around for probably about 20 years, Mr. Sayers, correct?
Yeah.
And like, as I said, this is actually, Mr. Gibson could speak to this more because he sought the grant out. But it's making middle grades work, which is probably an addendum or attached to the high schools that work. So it's considered high schools that work. It is being used at the junior high, professional development, and curriculum writing.
Any other questions? Now entertain a motion for 7A through 7F. Motion, Teresa, second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. Zappa?
Aye.
Mrs. Gillis? Aye. Mr. Engel?
Aye.
Mrs. Snyder? Aye. Mr. Yakobozzi?
Aye. Steve?
Thank you, Mr. Yakobozzi. Just a couple of items here as part of my report. Obviously, a big focus is starting and getting ready for the start of the upcoming school year. It's hard to believe, but I think we're, if I remember correctly, 3 weeks from Thursday, the first day for students. All of our offices will open next Monday. All of our building offices, of course, the board offices open throughout the summer. Bus routes are being prepared. We're in good shape with our bus inspections. We have 39 buses that have already passed inspection and are set, excuse me, for the 21-22 school year. So the fleet is in very, very good shape. One of our vans just arrived, so transportation is really coming together. A lot of projects that are underway and hoping to get these things wrapped up here before school starts. As the board is aware, we wanted to address the flooding issues that we've incurred in the south parking lot here at the high school. We've had it happen a couple of times, I think, in the last 6 or 7 years. So that project, I believe, is just about complete. You can see that down there. And obviously, the goal was to funnel the water away from the building and towards the street. And, you know, the big concern, as we experienced several years ago, was water getting into the building and then ultimately into the gym floor. And, you know, that water and gym floors are not a good combination. So it was good to get that project completed, and as far as I can tell, everything's going very, very well. We also have this parking lot in front of the high school here. That project is underway, and that will be all concrete here within a week or so. So again, projects just coming together throughout the district. Teachers already back into the buildings. I've run into a couple of teachers getting ready, working in their classrooms, and certainly a very, very exciting time of year. Band camp has started and is underway, I think, as of last night, if I remember correctly. Fall sports, of course, are going to get going here, so I think everybody's very enthusiastic and excited about the upcoming school year. I did want to mention one item that actually just developed here earlier today, and we're expecting more detailed guidance to be made available to us tomorrow, I think. But earlier today, that the Ohio Department of Health did issue some guidance regarding masking in the opening of the 2021-22 school year. And their guidance has indicated that there will not be mask mandates, but rather there would be recommendations for school districts and parents to consider. So that's our approach here at Amherst as well. Locally, obviously we work very closely and follow state guidance and local guidance with our health commissioner here. But we do not plan to implement any mask mandates. Again, our thought and our goal is to provide parents with information, providing with recommendations for them to consider. And then ultimately, the decision to wear a mask or not wear a mask would be a parent and family decision as we look at the upcoming school year. So again, that information just came about today. We're going to continue, obviously, to monitor the situation, and we'll continue to work with our local health department and follow state guidance. But that's where we stand right now. And again, everybody's excited, looking forward to the upcoming school year, and we just can't wait to get started. So that concludes my report.
think there was a good article about Dave, featuring Dave Cobell in the Wayne County magazine called Pulse. He was in there, did a nice article on it.
Oh, was it just recently?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll get it and give it to you.
yeah, I was gonna say, I didn't see that. Yeah, he's just been a fabulous resource, and it just has provided so much expertise and guidance, and his entire team, you know, there at the health department, as we've talked on many other occasions, has just done a fabulous job, you know, over the last 18 months here.
Are we getting assurances that all these road projects are going to be done before they open the school?
Well, we're
Especially
hoping.
this one?
Yeah, we're hoping.
How about my one?
Yeah, the bridge?
Yeah, I didn't, yeah.
See,
Yeah, we'll see. I'll definitely,
I
obviously,
think Tia's
keep the
got
board posted.
some alternative routes lined up in the event they don't have it.
As we've done before, we have to improvise and adjust, right?
Any questions for Steve? If not, administrative committee reports, nothing there, Steve?
No.
Anything on Mike's side?
No, Mike and Sarah, I know, are actually just finishing up their vacations. I think both of them will be in the office tomorrow, and obviously it'd be nice to have the full team back next Monday. All of our principals return, all of our administrators, our office staff, and at that point, things start to get very, very busy. But very, very busy in a good way. So,
Yep.
looking forward to having them back.
Thank you. Mr. Engel?
Sure. JVS, we're getting ready again for the start of school. We're excited that everything is right now on schedule to be back to normal, from everything from labs to everybody being in class every day, and none of the hybrid stuff that went on last year at JVS. So I think that's an exciting thing. We spent a little bit of time doing some revamping of the foundation for the JVS. Because it's becoming a committee of the superintendent, which it had always been board committee before, so we're doing some changing and revamping of that. So that's been one of the projects this summer. Normal routine things that we've done for summer maintenance is in works. I don't really have anything else to report unless you have some specific questions about that. Okay. I have heard though on the road project that the Mild Avenue is not going to be done.
Really?
But they are way behind on that because of all the rain. Now, I don't know that. I've heard that through some city officials that are unofficial, but they're city officials. But I've heard that they don't think that that's going to happen because that project is behind because of rain. So I don't know. So you might want to do some investigation.
Yes, we will definitely check. We're hearing some similar things, but we don't have any definitive dates or anything like that. So Tia is kind of checking and looking at some alternatives and see what that could look like. I did send an email to the mayor earlier today, and we haven't had a chance to connect or talk during the school day. So certainly as we get more information, we'll keep the board updated, and obviously our community and parents and families as well. So,
But I agree with Ron. This out here, this isn't done. This is
yes,
Yes, it's a nightmare now.
yes.
Especially up at the corner. It's a real mess up there. It's worse than down here.
Yeah,
Here's the Dodgers game.
as I was coming down here, I was glad I had the truck tonight.
The last time I was ran a flat tire for this mess.
Did you?
The
Really?
next day,
That's what I was worried about.
so
Well,
it's
We'll keep you
it's a mess.
posted.
And I thought it would be a little bit better now, but it's the same or worse than it was last month.
they're still putting in rebuilding the sewer areas. I think when that's finished, they can start putting the coating down. But even then, it takes, 30 days to cure? First coat, then they gotta put a second coat on. So it's not gonna be 100% complete.
Well, at least if it's drivable, because
I think at
the
least
amount
get
of
the first
cars
coat
that come
down.
down here is phenomenal. So I just think we need to be on the city
Yes.
about that.
Absolutely.
So we kind of know where we are, because
And it is.
you have to pay the back.
Yeah, as I said, I sent an email to him. I know he's obviously a very busy guy, and I'm sure we'll get a chance to talk tomorrow and kind of catch up on things. But he keeps me in the loop on things, and we have a good open line of communication there. So we'll figure it out and work through it somehow, some way.
The good thing on this project, it's being done by Smith. Smith is normally that guy is right on target. So hopefully this will be finished, at least the first coat.
He's doing all the sidewalks too.
He seems to be getting those knocked out, but who's doing the bridge, that's not Smith. All right, personnel recommendations, Steve.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Jacobozzi. Several items here, and I know the board has had an opportunity to review these items prior to the meeting, and many of these items are very standard for this time of year. I did want to highlight item J is kind of unique to this year. This is our summer experience program that we made available to our parents and our students this year. This is a program that's being paid for through our federal stimulus funds. And we had, I think Mr. Molnar had indicated we're right around 50 students that are signed up to take advantage of this program. So we intentionally scheduled it for August. We wanted to make sure families had an opportunity to travel and vacation, enjoy summer and baseball and soccer and softball and all those things that kids and families do in the summer. So we wanted to leave June and July, and we intentionally scheduled this for early August. So I think we're right around 50 to 55 students, and these are the teachers that are helping out with that program. So that is an item that is unique specifically to this year. And then also I wanted to mention item L, and Mr. Molnar, I'm sure, could provide some additional details, but this is actually a new course. This is a pilot program that we're in a pilot with the Ohio Department of Education, a new math course here at the high school, and this is a recommendation to provide some training and professional development as Michelle Kamchek prepares to teach that course this year. So that's kind of a neat thing as well, obviously, whenever you can create and add additional elective opportunities. So with that, we'd like to recommend approval of items 10A through 10L.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Snyder?
Aye.
Mrs. Gillis?
Aye.
Mr. Engel?
Aye.
Mr. Zappa?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobozzi?
Aye. I guess I'll just entertain a motion for 11A.
Oh.
Hmm?
This is a roll call.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Hang on, just one moment, please. All right, housekeeping done.
Got it?
Yes.
So moved.
Is there a second? Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Gillis?
Aye.
Mr. Zappa?
Aye.
Mr. Engel?
Aye.
Mrs. Snyder?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobozzi?
Aye. Education recommendations, Steve?
Yes, 6 items here. Again, standard items for this time of year as we prepare for the upcoming school year. These are various service contracts, and I did want to mention that item F, we don't have the formal application that we normally have for those out-of-state trips. I know Mr. Barbero is working on that. And again, this is kind of getting back to normal and planning this trip, but we wanted you to have this information, at least the dates that we were looking at, and we'll certainly provide the details as they become available. And with that, we'd like to recommend approval of items 12A through 12F.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
I was just gonna ask, how many students do we usually have in this music therapy, but she's not here, so I didn't email her because I knew she was gone, but I'll just ask that question next month.
Okay.
Because I knew that she would know that.
Yes, she, I can find out.
No, that's fine.
But she would have it right off the top of her
Because I
head.
was just curious because I think it's interesting that that program has been so successful.
Mhm.
So I wanted to see how many students actually participated. So with the music therapy enrichment. So
And I'll make a note of that as well, and we can definitely follow up with that information.
Sarah would have the answer to that on the tip of her tongue.
Yep. Any other questions? If
Is
not,
that,
roll call.
wait,
Oh,
just a
sorry.
question. Is that band trip, is that during spring break?
Yes,
Oh, is it?
I believe so.
Okay, it is.
Or a portion of spring break.
Portion, okay. Thanks.
Anything else? Roll call.
Mrs. Gillis?
Aye.
Mrs. Snyder?
Aye.
Mr. Engel?
Aye.
Mr. Zappa?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobozzi?
Aye. Business recommendations?
Yes, just 4 items here. Again, various service contracts that you've seen before as we prepare for the upcoming year. A couple of things I just wanted to highlight. Again, great partnership with the city in regards to the resource officers, and we appreciate their support with that. And Officer Bowers and Officer Layfield do a great job for us. And so again, we just appreciate that partnership with the city of Amherst. I did want to highlight item B as well. That's, again, a little bit unique to this year. Received an email, and I guess this is from a Shell gas station. Originally, I thought it was the one over here on Oak Point.
This one's controlled by Beck, this is True North.
Yeah, this is the one over at the Shell gas station over on Middle Bridge, I believe it is. And essentially what they're doing is this is a community program, and they're donating a penny for each gallon of gas that they sell at a particular pump. And so this is the agreement basically saying it's okay for them to do this, and so it's just, I thought it was kind of a neat idea. We've never had anything like this before. Obviously, we don't have to do anything, but how many ever gallons of gas they sell at this particular pump, at this particular Shell station, they'll send us a check for a penny a gallon, whatever that adds up to be. So wanted to include this item on the board agenda as well, and again, something unique we haven't had before, but obviously a good thing. So
Will they advertise that, Steve, or is it something?
yeah, and I think that's what the agreement primarily is. It basically gives them permission to say, yes, we're doing this, and yes, the proceeds will go to benefit the Amherst schools, and yeah, that's a big part of what the agreement's about.
Okay.
So it was,
Pump it.
it was,
Yeah.
They're gonna have, they're gonna have it marked.
well, and I think they have, and I don't know how, but I think they'll have it marked somehow, and and obviously if we can, promote it. I think it runs from August 1st until the end of September, and certainly it's something we can promote, obviously, on the website and Facebook as well. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes, but certainly no downside
No.
to it for the schools. So.
Did you make your recommendation?
Yes, recommendation of items 13A through 13P. Thank you.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Engel?
Aye.
Mrs. Gillis?
Aye.
Mrs. Snyder?
Aye.
Mr. Zappa?
Aye.
Mr. Yakobozzi?
I entertain a motion to go to executive session, I believe that you wanted one, Steve?
Yes, and actually two items for executive session. One, a personnel employment item, and then the other one was to prepare for a collective bargaining with all employees.
Second?
Roll call.
Mr. Zappa? Mrs. Gillis? Mr. Engel?
Aye.
Mrs. Snyder?
Aye.
Mr. Yakobozzi?
Aye.